Hello, and welcome to the Autism Resources Kawartha podcast. I'm Matt Garrity, and I'm so happy to be here with you. In this conversation, Kaylee shares her personal journey with autism, focusing on her experience as a parent of an autistic child. We discuss the early diagnosis of their son, the challenges faced in understanding autism, and the impact it has on family dynamics. The conversation also highlights the importance of community support, advocacy, and the unique gifts that autistic individuals bring to the world, including one of the most impactful things I've ever heard about loving someone with autism. Kaylee emphasizes the need for empathy and understanding in the broader community, as well as the challenges within the healthcare system regarding autism diagnosis and support. It's cool that Kaylee's husband was one of ARC's first supporters, someone who reached out early on, met me for lunch to share encouragement, and whom I happened to run into again while dropping off our kids at basketball camp. That led to the idea of sitting down with Kaylee for this truly meaningful conversation. The Autism Resources Kawartha podcast is a series of unscripted conversations with local autistic people and the people who love them right here in Kawartha Lakes. Join us for a new episode every Tuesday on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please follow or subscribe. This podcast couldn't be possible without the support of Cardinal Home Services. Thank you so much. Check them out at cardinalhome.ca. Now, finally, enjoy this conversation with Kaylee. So what's your experience with autism?
So my son he is turning 10 in November. He was diagnosed with autism at 18 months. So it's been not quite, but almost a decade. And it has been a learning curve since then. Through him, I actually realized I myself am likely autistic. I don't have an official diagnosis. I have a lot of diagnoses of other things, but it's been a journey learning his autism and then parenting with my own. So that has been my experience, which doesn't really sum it up nicely, but just as a light overview, that's my experience with autism.
Great starting point.
Yeah.
That's maybe the earliest I've ever heard somebody getting diagnosed.
Yeah. Yes, it's very early.
I don't know how to, why so early? What were the signs? Why did you feel that way to get that diagnosis so early?
So the only experience I had had prior to that with autism was having a paternal cousin who I didn't see very often growing up, and I just knew he was autistic, but I interacted with him maybe half a dozen times in my life, and that was very early on. Aside from that, I had no experience. I didn't know any symptoms. I didn't know to look out for symptoms. I was 23 when my son was born, so I was pretty young in the world and didn't really cross my mind. Him and I bonded immediately. I had a home birth and I thought parenting was awesome. I sometimes still think that.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with autism, just parenting in general. And I noticed though that when we would go to the doctor, they'd ask about developmental milestones. And he wasn't meeting some of them. He crawled, he walked at an appropriate age. So physically, he was doing great. He started to talk. He said, I believe mama and maybe dada. I might just be saying that for my husband's sake, but he did say mama.
Yeah.
And then he just stopped. He stopped saying it and he made sounds, lots of noises, but he didn't make any words. He also loved and still loves to line things up. So his idea of his playtime is lining up trains or lining up cars. And I mean, these are very long lines. They would go all the way through this room. And I just thought, that's cool.
Yeah.
It didn't concern me. I wasn't worried about it. And I just assumed that's how he wants to play. He was an excellent baby. He rarely cried except when he was hungry. So I was thrilled because you hear the horror stories of no sleep and it's exhausting. And I did not have much help. My family lives in America and my husband travels a lot. There was no one. So I was grateful for the fact that while it was challenging, it seemed to be not as nightmarish as I thought it was. Looking back, I believe some of that was because he was autistic. And again, these weren't red flags for me, but when the doctors would ask us certain things and, yeah, he's not talking anymore, yes, he's lining things up, then it's like, oh, okay, he could be autistic. And this, again, presented very early. So we were referred to a psychologist. We went to the psychologist, and it was, we got the diagnosis immediately. He was like, yeah, he is super autistic. I mean,
Diagnosis on the way out the door.
Yeah, they didn't say super autistic, but yes, he was, he got it. So and because you're doing this podcast, this is, autism resources for Kawarthas. Looking back on it, I felt there was a gravity to being diagnosed and the way that the doctor and psychologist spoke about it, that the energy kind of transferred to me where I thought I'm very upset about this because it was delivered in such a way like, this is terrible. They did not say this is terrible. They were very professional, but it was kind of like the underlying attitude was, this is really terrible. Sorry, your son is autistic.
Sure.
So I kind of took that on like, oh no, this must be the end of the world. I remember crying about it. I was very upset. Then immediately you're thinking, okay, what do we do? How do we fix this? And I wish if any parents are listening, or even when I talk to people who also have this diagnosis handed to them, that there was kind of like a information packet that said, hey, this is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
There are worse things. And in some ways it can be a gift. And I hate to talk about it as, I don't want to say it's like being a superhero or your child's going to be a savant. That's not the case. It could be, but it's highly unlikely. And so I don't mean gift in that way. There are many challenges.
Yeah.
It's very hard at times, but it is not the end of the world. And I just wish that at 23, maybe I was 24 then, someone would have given me that optimism that I kind of had to claw out on my own. And now I don't feel that way. I still have challenges. I still have crying episodes because it's not, in my opinion, for your child. It's for the world and their reaction to your child. I think my child is perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, he is not, but I think he's perfect. But it's more of how the world reacts to different people.
That feels like a great way to end the podcast, but I don't want to.
We're done. That's it. Yeah.
Hey, it's Matt Garrity from the Autism Resources Kawartha podcast. I want to tell you about one of my family's favorite things to do in Kawartha Lakes, the Crazy Creative program at the Kawartha Art Gallery. It's totally free, open to all ages, and every Saturday the gallery turns into a space where you can express your imagination with model magic. I've taken my kids countless times, and we always walk away with big smiles. I've also talked to artists on this podcast who are autistic, and I love how a program like Crazy Creative makes creativity accessible for everyone. Join in any Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Kawartha Art Gallery. You can find out more by following them on social media or visiting kawarthagallery.com. You'll love it. So you immediately, I don't want to say like everybody, we're like overwhelmed. We're told this is terrible.
Yes.
This is awful.
Yes.
When did you start to realize this isn't terrible, this isn't awful, there's a life after this diagnosis?
Yes. So that is one of the things I love about what you're doing, is that you're actually talking to the autistic community. That is the important part. When you seek out, and it can be online because you might not immediately know anyone who is autistic around you, but when you seek out online adults with autism living their life, and you talk to autistic people, and they have struggles, they have challenges, but they also really love their life. They're not miserable. And so when you start to seek that out and you actually talk to people with lived experience versus just professionals who are kind of separated. They know a lot scientifically and medically, but they don't necessarily know day to day. When you talk to people who do, I mean, they're just living their life like everyone else.
They're happy.
Yes.
Their biggest challenges that from, again, experiences of conversations I've had with people that are even 40 years old and older that were diagnosed with autism in some way is the experience that they had before they were diagnosed.
Yes.
And maybe how they were treated.
Yeah.
And that generation is different.
Yes.
They're meaner.
Yeah.
I think kids now are different, better, in a better way. They're more open. They see different body types. They experience different people and talk to different people of all different experiences.
Yes.
And I've noticed that with kids of they're, again, much more open, nicer, kinder. So I hope that our kids have a better experience because they were diagnosed early. And a lot of that, okay, I wasn't diagnosed. I'm being made to feel different. Doctors are telling me my life is terrible.
Yes.
I can't figure out a lot of this stuff. My parents aren't listening to me. I don't know how to talk for myself or communicate for myself.
Yes.
Advocate for myself.
Yep.
That's their hardships, I've heard.
I completely agree. So for me, I have been in and out of therapy since I was 3. I have always felt as if life was a lot easier for everyone else. And I recognize, my own privilege and comforts that I had, but I just mean interacting with the world just seemed a lot easier. And I'm looking around as a kid even like, why is this so easy for you to make friends, to engage in different types of play? How do you operate so comfortably in the world? And for me, I just felt alien. I just felt like an alien. So I was diagnosed with various things, anxiety, bipolar, borderline personality disorder. Those two in particular are often given as a diagnosis to women instead of autism, when really it is autism.
Yeah. I just heard that recently on another podcast a week ago.
Yes, because women tend to, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but from what I've read in my own experience, women tend to mask constantly. We present almost like a people-pleasing tendency to the world. So even if we are crumbling inside, we're trying to keep it all together. So we fly under the radar of being diagnosed as autistic.
Because they're quiet.
Yes.
They're shy.
That was me.
They're not wild.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That was me. And I was very quiet. I was very shy. I remember this one instance where I was in school, a school I'd been to for many years. So I had friends there. This is elementary school. My classes got switched like the second weekend. So there was a scheduling conflict. I had to switch my classes. I knew people in the new classes. It shouldn't have been a tragedy, and yet I was sobbing, and I had to go to the nurse's office and call my mom because the change was abrupt and really threw me off. And everyone's looking at me, like all the teachers, they're like, why are you having a meltdown, essentially, is what I was having. And looking back over my life, I realized these instances where a psychologist looked at it and said, you're bipolar or you are borderline, they were meltdowns because I couldn't handle the way things were changing around me. They were abrupt changes. And not to say I don't have the other things. Honestly, I could have everything.
Sure.
Who knows? But I realized through my son, just watching him, the way he reacts to transitions, like, that's me. And the way he reacts to, if we have a bunch of people over, he goes to his room and shuts the door. That's me. I will go to my room and shut the door. It's not that I don't like people. I love my friends. I just need them in small doses. And I also need to know beginning and end. They're coming at 6, they're leaving at 9. Adults don't really interact that way often when, you're talking about hanging out with your friends. But for me, that's really helpful. So I just kind of created ways to work around that. But I can look at it in hindsight and see that's what I needed, when I'm having my meltdowns as a teenager. I drank a lot as a teenager. In my 20s, I did drugs because I was trying to cope with the chaos that I felt around me, where everyone else seemed to be fine.
Yeah, and not to interrupt, but you might be the third or fourth person that's had a very similar story. I don't know if you've heard this from other people too, but the experience of being a kid, being younger, and wondering, why does everybody else understand how to be a kid?
Yes.
And they understand all these invisible rules.
Yes.
Why am I so confused all the time?
Yes.
Which is not fascinating. It's fascinating to me
to
hear that. And like, that is a connection that you have with all those people.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot from others as well. Yeah.
And you were probably doing the things you just mentioned for, you were coping, but at the same time, my guess from conversations I've had with people is you saw other people doing that. Other teens were doing it.
Yes.
That's a rule that I'm allowed to do this. They're doing it. I want to be like them. Yeah. If I want to be like them, I'm going to emulate them. Yes. That was your masking in a way, right?
Oh, 100%. That's right. And so other people were doing it. And then when I did it, I felt, of course, alcohol, drugs lower your inhibitions and you feel, okay, this is what it's like to be normal.
Yeah.
Which obviously can lead to a lot of problems. If you believe that being drunk is the only way to socialize, which I did for a time. I was into binge drinking. Mm-hmm. It was bad when I was in college but socially it was great. I suddenly had lots of friends. I was really popular. I went to parties all the time. I was the fun person. I am not the fun person. In real life, I am very internal. Like, my world is in my head and I don't really engage much outwardly, which I'm fine with, but I'm fine with it now. But at the time, it felt like you needed to be doing these social experiments that I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
So becoming the fun person was great for a while. And then the drinking starts to catch up with you. I failed an entire semester in university because of drinking, which then when you're not drinking, you're depressed, which when you're depressed, then I had anxiety. And it was really detrimental, where I feel like if someone had told me, hey, I think you're autistic, I would have been like, oh, there's other people that feel this way, instead of feeling like the alien who has to be drunk to have a lot of friends.
And I don't want to be upsetting or triggering to you, but when you were talking about, okay, your classes got switched, or what were you being told by your parents or mom? I think you mentioned doctors or whatever. Were like, what did they tell you when you were dealing with those changes and transitions, or like, frankly, not feeling like you weren't fitting in? What were you being told?
There was a lot of, and at first it's like, it's not a big deal. So when I would have these type of meltdowns, it's kind of like they also were looking at me like, you're a bit alien, which just reinforced this alien persona I had in my head. And another thing I was told, I had anxiety. I had severe anxiety, which is true, but that is also part of autism, especially when you're talking about transitions. So there was a lot of, and that word was kind of just stuck to me a lot, that I was very anxious and sensitive. I was called sensitive a lot, which interestingly, I was very sensitive. And then I got tired of constantly feeling the world like it felt like it was poking at me in a way, that I shut that down. So for 10 years or so, I was very detached. I was not sensitive. I was probably a bit cold, because it was again, like another masking, another coping mechanism.
I'm going to fight the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Because no one was listening to you.
Yes.
Right? And you were told not to have a voice.
Yes.
You didn't, maybe, I don't know if you had a voice and it was taken away.
Yeah.
But you didn't have a voice.
Yes. I got in lots of arguments with my stepdad, or teacher figures because I was very stubborn, because I didn't understand, you're telling me I need to be this way. This doesn't make any logical sense to me at all. But again, it's the unwritten social rules that I never saw. So I didn't really understand. So I was very combative. And then eventually you just, especially as a kid, you get kind of worn down. So you're like, okay, I'm going to conform. I don't like any of y'all.
Yeah.
And so that's when I developed this like cold, detached. And it's really only in the past few years that I've even been able to let that go and let more people in. So, yeah.
So I almost said his name because I know it, but I'm not going to. So your son was diagnosed at 18 months.
Yes.
You kind of fought through the world telling you this is a bad thing.
Yeah.
When did you start to recognize maybe I've got the similar things that he has, and that started to add up and make some not solutions in your mind, but started to make some sense to you?
Yeah. So it also helped when my daughter was born. So she was born 17 months after him.
Yeah.
So right around this time she's born, he's being diagnosed. And as she grew and developed, I realized, oh, she's a lot like my husband, who's very extroverted, not autistic. Not that those two things, can't go together, but he's not.
Sure.
And
this story sounds very similar to ours.
Oh,
so that's why I was like,
okay.
okay, I'm nodding. I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
It wasn't until my second one was born where it was like, oh, I'm seeing his development a lot differently and faster.
Yes.
And I was always the one that was, with my older son, Beckett, was he'll get there.
Yeah.
He'll speak.
Same. Yes.
He'll get there.
I
He'll
felt that
develop,
as well.
right?
Yeah.
And then when my other one was born and he's running at 8 months, he never walked. He crawled and then he ran,
Then you
right?
think,
I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
it's a bit different.
And the speech and everything, and it was eye-opening. But sorry to interrupt, but that's just like interesting. Okay, this is exactly like not the exact, but it's like, okay, not until I had my second one where it's like, okay, there's something here.
Then you see a comparison, right?
Yes.
Because when you're a parent for the first time, you're a parent for the first time.
Yes.
You have you've seen kids, you maybe have been around babies, but you don't have a comparison day to day.
And it was so easy, like you said.
Yes.
He slept.
Yes.
He didn't cry.
It was amazing.
He was an angel baby.
Absolutely. Yes.
And then
and my second was not.
Well, I know. Exactly. Yeah. So we brought home Foster.
Yeah.
And Beckett just snapped.
Yes.
Different kid.
Yeah. Okay.
Mad. Started to like change. And we're like, oh, we've broken him by bringing this kid home. This new baby home. And then Foster was, he is an angel.
Yeah.
Not as a baby. Those first 6 months were hard.
Yes.
Like Beckett slept routinely.
Yep.
I would get up, like I'd like change him. I'd bring in my wife. I'd go back to bed every couple hours. Like it was great.
Oh, that was
Foster
awesome.
didn't sleep for 6 months, more than like
this story is just like mine.
we had to hold him.
Yes.
Just to get him down for a
wow.
couple minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man, it was rough.
It was a nightmare.
Oh, it was so hard.
That period of my life was a nightmare because again, we didn't have help. I didn't have family. My husband's working a lot, and suddenly I have two under two.
Yeah.
And yes, my second, she did not sleep at all ever. It felt like she was constantly up. And then when she did sleep, well, my first is up. So there's no sleep to be had.
No.
But yes, the development with my second was faster. And then you have the comparison. Oh, okay, this is what's different. What I also noticed as she grew, she's just like my husband. And she's not like me at all. My son is exactly like me. And again, he's already got his autism diagnosis. And I think I kind of understand him perfectly, actually. And I don't really understand my daughter as much, which now we have a great relationship.
Sure.
But it's still, we have different hurdles that I don't have with my son. That's when I realized, oh, might be autistic because I don't really have the, and again, like, to put it the other way, my husband couldn't really connect as much with our son. He can now that he's learned, but he couldn't connect with him as easily as he could our daughter.
Sure.
Because we're dealing with two autistic people and two regular people. And that was when I realized, oh, okay, I think that we have the same thing. But what's interesting is we have them on different levels. So even though I feel that communicating with my son is very intuitive. I do understand how other people don't feel the same, whether they're autistic or not. He is non-speaking.
Yeah.
He has other developmental challenges. He has I believe it's called, I'm going to get this wrong, intelligence disability. There's a word I'm looking for that I can't find. He is just operating. He's almost 10. He's kind of operating on like a 3-year-old level. And yet I still find, for me, it's easy to connect. But I recognize the differences in our autism. And I think that's something even within the autism community that should be discussed more, is that according to the DSM, where they diagnose all of these things, there's different levels of autism. There's 1, 2, and 3. If I was diagnosing myself, I'm not a doctor. I can't do this, but I would say I'm likely a level 1.
Sure.
I can get through the world and mask and not have a great time at it, but I can function as an adult.
Yeah.
My son is level 3, but there's another word being thrown about that's not in the DSM, so it's not an official diagnosis. It's called profound autism.
Okay.
So it's when your IQ is below a certain number, which I'm not sure what that is, and you also present with level 3 autism.
Okay.
So this type of person needs a lot of support. 24/7 actually is how they calculate 24/7 support. They have, if they are left alone, and this is my son, they can injure themselves. He's prone to self-injury. He doesn't get himself dressed, things like that.
Gotcha.
I think it's important to recognize that difference between, for example, me and him in the autism community. And it's very difficult because for someone like him, he's at this point, I won't say never, but he's not going to go on a podcast or post on social media. He doesn't have that ability to do that at this point. So they don't really have a voice.
Yep.
And some people don't like, high functioning terms, low functioning terms, but I do believe there needs to be some sort of divide because we need to advocate, especially level 1 autistics. I feel like it's kind of my responsibility, not just as his parent, but in general, to advocate for the people who are the same as I am, just on a different spectrum, that can't advocate for themselves and present themselves to the world. Because you could encounter, hypothetically, a level 3 or someone with profound autism on the street, in life, and if you don't know anything about it, you might be frightened.
Yep.
You might not know they need help.
Sure.
There's all kinds of implications for community that I think it's important to advocate for people who just aren't able to do it themselves.
I think that's what's confusing to a lot of neurotypical people that aren't in this community and don't understand it, that there is that spectrum.
Yes.
And they might see somebody or talk to somebody that is having challenges to communicate with them.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, that person has some challenges.
Yeah.
Or they might speak to someone like you where it's maybe not as obvious that you're having struggles.
Yes.
And challenges and you're masking.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it can get frustrating.
Yes.
Like to hear that's where you get the, well, I'm anxious too.
Yeah.
Or like, I know what it's like to do this. I like lining stuff up.
Yeah.
Do I have autism? Like,
or you get the phrase this really just pisses me off a bit when people say, well, everyone's a little autistic. Oh man. Like, I don't believe that. I don't think that's true at all. I have seen the difference. Again, being married to someone who's certainly not autistic, just seeing that clear difference in how, not to say his life is perfect, it's not, he has his own struggles, but generally speaking, how he is able to interact in the world is much different than how I am able to interact in the world. Everyone is not a little autistic, and lining things up or taking like one, like you just said, they do often take one thing and think, well, I do that too. My life is not that hard.
We don't say that about people with cancer.
Yes.
Or like, someone like going
Yes.
through chemo, they go home and they throw up and they're sick. And I'm like, well,
Yes.
I threw up and I don't have, I have cancer.
That's a really good
right?
analogy. Yes. Yeah, exactly
So,
that.
And my biggest concern, the thing that drives me the most nuts, the more I'm speaking to people in this community as well, is even what you spoke about, which was you recognize that you have autism.
Yeah.
You haven't done a diagnosis or whatever. Other people have said similar things, honestly, because of the cost of it.
Yes.
And that frustrates me. That why do we have to pay for that diagnosis when we're in?
Yeah.
I'm gonna like be calm.
Yeah.
And not get into politics like we talked about before recording.
Yes.
But like we live in this country where we talk about free healthcare, and if I'm sick, I can go to the doctor and I can get medicine for this, that, and the other thing, or I don't feel good and I go to the doctor and the doctor's like, let's see if you have cancer, you don't have cancer.
Yes.
And I'm not saying cancer is autism, but just as an example, as an analogy of why can I go to the doctor to be diagnosed with this, but I don't know if the anxiety is the same. Anxiety, autism, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Why are we paying for that?
Yes.
That's absurd to me.
Yes.
I started doing talk therapy a year ago, and that's out of pocket. And I'm okay with that. I have my own business. I don't have benefits. We had benefits for a bit. Like the idea is like, well, if you want benefits, make more money as a business owner, right?
Yes.
Which is easier said than done.
Yes.
But so like to me, my mind's like going through that. And then we just paid for my other son to be I don't not paying for the diagnosis, but you're paying for the evaluation.
Yes.
For ADHD privately. It's like over $2,000.
Yeah.
And woman's amazing, great work, all that stuff. Nothing against her. It's just that the system. I'm like, was in there for a day and a half, and then she's going to put together the report and everything. And hopefully she listens to this. And she's fantastic and everything, but it's the system of how, like, why are we paying for this? How is this not covered?
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix that, and I probably never will, but maybe I'll start beating the drum about it because
I
like
think
if I have a cold, I go to the doctor. Like, oh, you got a cold, go take some medicine.
Yes.
Or again, too, like we went and we got our children diagnosed, and they're like, okay, you've got this. Good luck. Go on the internet and read about how to fix it, but how to like make things okay.
That is exactly I mentioned having this heavy sense of after I got the diagnosis, because it's not just, sorry, he's autistic. It's sorry, he's autistic, bye.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. So all of the understanding I have and all the empathy and all of the being able to find autistic adults living their lives all came from my own research. And of course, yes, everyone has access to the internet, but if you don't know and you're told that this is a horrible thing, you don't know what to look up. You don't know what you're researching. There's no guidebook. And I think maybe there should be some type of guide. So, even putting together all the different types of speech therapy or occupational therapy or various things, you just kind of have to figure that out on your own. And it's, again, very overwhelming. It's very complicated. And yes, I have not pursued a diagnosis because, yes, I have lots of thoughts on the healthcare system.
That's a different podcast. We'll do it.
Yes. Yeah, I'll try not to. I'll just unleash them here. I haven't pursued a diagnosis because I honestly find it difficult for my son to get the care that he needs. There seems to be a shortage of all kinds of things within healthcare. And so I find it difficult for him, which, again, as I spoke about, he needs lots of resources. He needs lots of help. If I find it difficult for him, I think to myself, rightly or wrongly, I don't want to take that spot from someone else. And so in other words, I just feel, again, I'm not saying this is the correct way to feel, but it's just how I feel, that I don't want to, again, just take resources from someone else who could need it more. And that goes back to what you're saying, where I can come on this podcast, I can have conversations, and people think, well, your life must not be that hard. You must not be that autistic. And I realize it kind of reinforces that. But just seeing my son struggle in terms of finding various healthcare resources that we need, I just think, okay, I don't want to be on a mega wait list.
Yeah.
Some of the wait lists we're talking about years.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I just don't want to take it from, especially a child who might need it. And I know that's not really how it works. I know I'm not literally taking the spot, but that's how I kind of rationalize it in my mind. So that's kept me from actually pursuing a diagnosis. So yes, there are things that could be perhaps overhauled in our free healthcare system. And like you said, the people within it, we found excellent speech therapists, excellent occupational therapists who really, I feel, understand autism more than, the doctor who is giving the diagnosis, because they are dealing with these people all the time. They're amazing.
Yeah.
We need more of them, but they are absolutely incredible. And my speech therapist for my son now,
What's her name?
Michaela.
I think I hooked Chris up with that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Not to pat myself on the back.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, Chris reached out.
She's amazing.
Really early on.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to think back, and he was almost like skeptical.
Yeah.
And he emailed me. He's like, "What is this? Who are you?" With ARC. He was really nice. I'm being dramatic, but he kind of was like,
yeah.
What's this all about? And I actually pieced it together that I know you through mutual people.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I know Hal.
Yeah.
Aisha.
I love Aisha.
And then I think that's your friend group.
Yes.
With Robin and some other people and everything. So anyways, I was like, hey, I think I kind of know you. And now I think I met Chris at the wing thing that I did a couple years ago. Or whiskey. Okay. I can't remember.
Yes. Okay.
But anyways. So we started talking. He's like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what this is, but we're starting it and we're going to figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
What do you need? And he was like, I need speech therapy help. And I'm like, we legit know somebody. It's private.
That's amazing.
But I always say it's Brittany, but I don't believe she owns it.
Yeah.
But it was always Brittany. And then I think I got Brittany in touch with Chris.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah. Michaela is, she is just incredibly understand. And this goes back to when you said Chris was a bit skeptical. I find I am constantly skeptical of anyone who wants to offer any autistic help.
Yeah.
Because there are so many neurotypical people talking over autistic people instead of with them.
Sure.
And I find that very frustrating. Or they are focused on, even more broadly speaking, a cure or a fix. And I'm not looking for those. I just want... And the reason I'm not looking for them is because my son is incredibly happy. He is probably the happiest kid I know.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the outside world, I would honestly have no fears about his life at all, even with the 24/7 support that he needs.
Yeah.
I would have no fears. Of course, I live in the real world, so I have lots of fears. And that's why I think these things are so important, to just get the broader community to recognize and acknowledge and commune with autistic people. Even things such as police officers.
Yeah.
We have had excellent experiences with police officers. My son has ran away twice. This is called eloping. That's what they call it when autistic people run. It's called elopement. The first time was 5 years ago, and we, of course, immediately called the police. He'd never done it before. We didn't even know that it could be a concern, but he was just missing. We called the police. We are looking outside, and he cannot speak, but thankfully, he makes lots of noises. Even when I say he can't speak, people assume he'll be mute, but he's actually very loud.
Sure.
He just makes lots of sounds.
Sure.
We heard him making a sound across the street. We live across from a lake, and he was at the lake.
That's what I thought Chris had mentioned.
Yes.
Like, you're up, I won't say where, but it was like, that's near water.
Yes.
That's scary.
It's terrifying.
Can he swim?
So we have a pool. He goes in the pool all the time, but he wears a life jacket.
Sure.
I don't know. if he can swim.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He has taken swimming lessons before, but I'm not really sure what his skill level would be. And elopement is very common with autistic people. And if they're not found very quickly, drowning is a huge possibility. That happened in Lindsay.
Yeah.
Chris and I came, we didn't know the family, but we came to look, and we were looking by the river. And this was after my son had ran away the first time. And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's not a parent's fault. These kids are very smart.
Yep.
They are escape artists. And I remember reading, there was a nonverbal kid. It was just in some news article. He had eloped. He'd been found. He was great. He was communicating with a communication device, and the journalist asked him why he ran away. And he said, and I assume this could be applicable to a lot of autistic people, it's not that he wants to run away from home per se. It's just this feeling he gets that he can't stop. Like he just needs to go.
It's like a stim.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And when I read that, I thought this makes like a lot of sense. And again, that's the beauty of actually talking to autistic people. So then you can find out.
I'm curious, like, I don't have this experience, but my wife will say, like, hey, I need some time away from you.
Yes.
I need a break.
Yes.
I need to go away for the afternoon.
I am that person. Yes.
We probably don't think that autistic people are experiencing the same thing.
Yes.
And especially, I almost did it again, your son
yes.
Was probably like, mom and dad are here all the time.
I need to get
I need
out.
A break. Will they just leave me alone, right?
Because I experienced that myself, and the way I can deal with it is go for a walk, or I even solo travel because I just need to not talk to anyone.
Yes.
But I still want to be in the world, but I want to get away from anybody. It's not even just my husband. It's literally any person on the planet.
Yes.
Which I think is why my son and I connected so well, because he doesn't talk. And I was great with that because I'm like, I will sit in silence with you for hours. I do not care. So that works out well. Yeah. My daughter talks constantly. So sometimes I'm just think to myself, like, I just need a minute.
Yeah.
And yes, so if I am able to, again, going back to levels, like level 1, okay, I need a break. I can go for a walk. I can go on a trip. My son, he needs a break. He's just going to take it. He's just going to bolt. And that is his version of planning a trip or going for a walk. The most recent time he ran was just a few weeks ago. And Chris and I were out. He was with a sitter that, a friend of ours, that she has watched him on and off for 2 years or so. So they know each other well. The first time he bolted, immediately we put top latches on our door.
Yeah.
Same day, we got the latches on, and we just were very neurotic. Like, did you lock the door? Did you get the latches? So we have the latches. This time, our friend, she closed the latch, and it appeared from the outside like it was secure, but it wasn't. And he can tell. I can look at it and say, yeah, that's done properly. He looks at it and he's like, oh, you didn't do this right. Yeah. And he just ran.
Yeah.
She didn't he's not going to tell you he ran. He's just going to take the opportunity. He bolted. She realized within 5 to 10 minutes, he was gone. Chris and I weren't there, and we got a phone call, and it was her. And as soon as she started speaking, I knew what had happened. This is my worst fear. I've had nightmares about it since the first time he did it for years. So we called the police. She called the police. Everyone called the police. He ended up being maybe not quite a mile down the road from our house at someone's house that we'd never been to before. He went to their backyard and got in their boat. He was in the water again. Luckily, the man who owned the house was there, and he saw there's a kid in my boat and there's no one here. So he called the police, and he sat with my son until the police came. The police were
Thank goodness he didn't
excellent.
Like bolt though too. And like, okay, who's this guy?
Yes.
And it's cool. Like the guy just hung out with them.
Everything
didn't scare him away.
Worked out miraculously, because if that man hadn't been there, I mean, my son would have likely drowned. So the police were excellent. Every time we've called them, they've been excellent. I don't know if I don't have any personal connection to the police here. I don't know if they have any training on autistic kids, but they do really well. You see news stories, particularly in the States, that's not the case. And I think it's that we need, you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. If the police have never encountered an autistic person, they're not going to know how to react. I feel like we need more training with that. And that's going back again to the community aspect, where if we talk about these things more, even if you see a random kid that maybe has communication issues and he's by himself, he's without shoes. My son never wears his shoes when he runs away. Then that could be a red flag for someone in the community. Sure. Maybe I should call someone about this kid. But yeah, thankfully it all worked out well. And again, the community as a whole in Lindsay seems to be pretty good. Yeah. In terms of communicating and coming together for different people with differences.
Is he on the autism registry through the police there?
So when we called the first time, they ended up not having to come, but they called us back after we found him, and we spoke to them about where he went, and they said that they were going to make a note of it because oftentimes kids return to the same place. He didn't, but he did go to the lake again. So I'm not sure if at that time he got put on the registry. I
don't know for sure, but I think you have to do it yourself.
Okay, he might not have been.
And I think the idea is in this case, or if he maybe made his way downtown, and was neurotypical people would say like creating a disturbance. Yes. The police wouldn't come in there like the American police would come busting down doors, right? I think they like understand like, okay, this person matches this profile. Yeah. We know him. We're aware. Yeah. We'll go in and we'll talk to him, or like we'll have a plan to deal with that.
I think actually when I leave, I'm going to check on that because I'm not sure. I'm a bit iffy, but we need more of this because I've seen police, particularly in the States, respond to an autistic person who, from all appearances, is normal. Yeah. But behaving a bit abnormally. And so police assume drugs or even just they're disrespectful but they just can't communicate in any other way. And if we had more awareness of this and more, especially when we're talking about police who carry guns and just had more training in that, I think that could go a long way for both sides. But here it seems that my experience has been amazing, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. That scares me because my son's not an eloper. You say eloper?
Yes.
He's purposefully ran away before. Like, hey, mom, dad, I'm out of here. Yes. I'm taking my bag. Yeah. And I'm walking down the street.
Yeah, okay.
And we live on a country road, probably similar to yours. I don't know exactly where you live. I remember Chris told me when we had lunch. And my wife was like, do I keep an eye on him? Do I watch him? Yeah. And he doesn't like anything very physical. He doesn't like, he gets scared when balls are thrown at him when we play catch. Yes. And I said to him, like, he's not going to do anything to hurt himself. Like, we don't need to worry about that. And he gets not even 100 meters and he turns around type of thing. Yeah, it's great. Fantastic. Great. The eloping thing scares me, though, because he's 10
terrifying.
Now. Yeah. Did that just switch over, like you said, right away? Like, you never had any indication that was going to happen, and all of a sudden he bolted?
When it first happened, there was no... Actually, looking back, there was an indication. So prior to moving here, we lived in another town. And one day, he just walked out the front door. I could see him and walked into our neighbor's house. And I thought... he didn't knock. He just opened the door. The door was unlocked. We knew our neighbors, thankfully, so I run over there. And they're like, oh, he's fine. But, he's a little cute kid at that point. When we're talking right now, he's about to be 10. But as you get older, you can't just walk into people's homes. So there was that indication, but it never happened again. It was just a kind of random thing that happened. So then when it happened 5 years ago, we, again, immediately took action to escape-proof our home.
Sure, yeah.
But now it's happened again, and I kind of thought maybe he'd grown out of it. Mm-hmm. Not so. So what we do to kind of maybe discourage this is just make sure he gets a lot of time outside, going for walks, that he swims in the pool. Just if he needs to get away, as we mentioned, that he's able to do that safely. So I couldn't send him out by himself.
Yeah.
He has no regard for his own safety. He's fearless about everything.
I'm so fortunate that way because my son is fearful, if that's
that's good.
Which is good.
In some ways, that's really good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's excellent. My son, no, like if he's crossing the street, he's not looking. He doesn't care. He just expects that the world will stop for him, which in a way is also good in that that translates to him being a person who really does not care what anybody else thinks. And I think that I aspire to that level of not caring. But of course, when we're talking about physical safety, it's concerning.
Yeah.
So aside in those 5 years between incidents, we did not have any indication that he would try to do it again. He tried to open the doors and then he realized there's a latch and he's like, okay. And then he just walks away. So we didn't think that it would happen again. I don't know. I tried looking into this. If this is something that autistic people who are prone to eloping ever grow out of. Unsure. I'm unsure if it is or not. So,
I don't know either. And I was even thinking, is it a verbal versus nonverbal thing? But I know that's not true either. So that's wild.
Yeah. That is, when we talk about challenges, we all have various ones, but honestly, that's the one I'm most scared of because it could be like life or death. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of anxiety around it. I am constantly, did we check the locks? So this time when he ran away, we got an alarm system. So if the door is open for 5 seconds, an alarm goes off.
Cool.
So within 5 seconds, I don't think he's going to get too far. Of course, this means the alarm goes off at times we don't want it to go off because we think, oh, I forgot about the alarm.
And your daughter thinks she's living in a police state.
Yes. She was very terrified when this most recent time, she was older and she was very scared. She actually was incredible. She went on her own next door to our neighbor, knocked on the door and said, my brother has run away. My neighbor is familiar with him and that he's autistic. He immediately put on his shoes and ran down to the lake. Ken, if you're listening to this, thank you very much. He sprung into action immediately. He might not have done that if he didn't know that my son is autistic. So my daughter was very scared. So she has actually embraced the police state, though, in certain ways. It does annoy her a bit when she wants to go outside and play and someone has to undo the lock and turn off the alarm. It's
might not love it when she's a teenager.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure she will hate it.
Yeah.
Which that whole sibling aspect is another side of autism that is just another component to parenting with autism, and as an autistic person, parenting to make sure she doesn't feel like we love him more because he has to have more support needs, that she doesn't feel neglected, that she doesn't become resentful, which she's not. At this point, she loves her brother. But just one of those like juggling acts that, okay, he needs all this care for his safety, but she, to grow up and be a fulfilled person, needs lots of needs as well.
Yeah.
I don't have that balancing act correct. I do the best I can, but yeah.
It's hard. It's something I struggle with a lot. We just went through it. We're always going through it.
Constantly.
But we went to Toronto on the weekend for like a big event.
Yeah.
We went to go to a soccer game because Messi was in town, and both kids love soccer and Messi.
Yes,
but
my daughter does as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So my youngest son is obsessed.
Yeah.
And it was like, this was for him, of course. But it was like, hey, let's all go. Yeah. Let's try. And we put Beckett in a lot of situations that were uncomfortable to him.
Yes.
It was, would it be easier not to bring him? Yes. Yeah. Would it be easier for him not to be there? Yes. Does he still want to be a part of it? Yes. He wants to be a part of it. He loves the idea of it.
Yes.
But then this whole thing is like, yeah, we're doing it. We are doing it for my younger son. Yeah. But then how do we juggle the autistic son's challenges?
Yes.
And like, so we're going out for dinner.
Yeah.
It's loud, and he doesn't even make it halfway through dinner most nights or any meal. He's like, I can't be in here anymore. It's too loud or whatever.
Yes.
Like we're super fortunate we've got to the point, and we're lucky that he can communicate, and we're lucky now, frankly, this year, listening to him much more.
Yes.
So he advocates for himself now, finally.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Where it used to be worse, and then it would he would be miserable, he'd get upset, he'd have a meltdown.
Yeah.
All heck would break loose. But juggling that this weekend was really challenging because he's like, I got to get out of here. And then my other son's like trying to eat.
Yeah.
He's not like, I don't know if he's bothered. I don't know yet.
Yes.
We're very open, wicked communication in our family, frankly, especially from the kids.
I think it's necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think he has those, he understands in some ways, but it was really hard this weekend. So it's like, that's super fresh.
I don't know if you do this, but when we go out to eat, because of the similar thing, we ask for the bill up front.
Yeah.
So if there is a crisis of some sort, we've already paid, we can just leave. And we do this 99% of the time that we go out because you never know. And it's like you said, would it be easier if my son didn't come? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably think it was fantastic too. And I get a lot of input from people who are not autistic or do not have autistic kids. Why don't you just leave them at home? Because that's not the life that he deserves. Even though it would be easier, and in some instances he would prefer it, he also loves being with his family.
100%.
He loves exploring new things. I want him to be able to do that.
And the idea of being there.
Yes.
He wants to go for dinner.
Yes.
He wants to be with his family at an event. But then when it's there, yes, it can be challenging.
Yes, absolutely. I have this as well. There have been many times where my husband is doing a dinner or something with our friends. The idea in my head is, I want to see my friends and I really want to go. And then I get there and I think within 10 minutes, it's amazing to see my friends. Now I would like to go home.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Yes,
They're
I wanted
doing
to see them. I've achieved that. Now let's go.
Now let's go. Of course, my husband's very social. He could be with people for hours and hours. He doesn't want to go. So what happened for a very long time is I just wouldn't go. He would invite me. My friends would invite me. And I would just, no, I will stay home.
Yeah.
And honestly, it felt good for a bit, but then at some point it gets a bit alienating and you're like, okay, I do feel like I should, and I work from home as well. So I'm seeing nobody. So for my own sanity, I should probably go out and socialize. So now if I know my husband will be there a long time and I don't want to be, I just drive separate. So then I can just leave, or we do it at my house. So when I'm done or when my son is done, we just go to our rooms and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
You get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But yes, there are situations where you have to go out. And again, he wants to be with his family, but 10 minutes in. And
we do that all the time now. Like we have to always have a plan for every social situation.
Yes.
Of like, we're driving separately.
Yeah.
Or if this happens, who's taking him?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a negotiation.
Yes.
Of, okay, I really want to be here. Or I really don't want to be here, so I would love it if you took him or whatever.
That's usually me. Yeah.
That was Toronto, like the whole thing. Like we had the plan of, we had it all sorted and who would take who. And then during the soccer game, at one point a week before, it was just my youngest son and one of the parents were going.
Yeah.
Because he was so upset by he's like, this is too much. Like he wants to go. And he says that, but like he knows how challenging it's going to be for him.
Yes.
So anyways, we adapted and we had all the plans. The only play I didn't think, because he left at halftime, which was fine.
Yeah.
And then he's always so funny because like you look at him and he looks miserable. But I've learned now, like I don't say anything because afterwards I'm like, hey, like, did you have a good time? And he's like, I had the best time. It was awesome. He's obsessed with soccer. He's hyper fixated on soccer now. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
But during that, I'm like,
His
he looks miserable.
Yeah, he's having the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we had everything planned out. My wife left with him at halftime.
Yeah.
BMO Field has sensory safe kits.
Oh,
Super
that's
cool.
amazing.
They
Yeah.
don't have a sensory safe space yet.
Yeah.
But they've got these kits that they're working with this other large company in North America. I think it's called Culture City.
Yeah.
And you go and you leave your ID and you pick up these like kit. It's got fidgets, it's got headphones and all this stuff.
That's
and then
really
you
cool.
Super cool.
That's amazing.
I planned everything except I didn't think about how my son and me were also going to get back to the hotel because I was like, shit, I don't know where I'm going now.
Yeah.
Like we had like it was like a whole thing. It took forever to
Yeah.
get like 10 kilometers. Anyways,
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
my wife and my son got home fine. It was no problem.
Great,
But me and
yeah.
my other son were like, I was like, oh, I didn't think about
This
this part of the plan.
I did, yeah.
Everything
We
else
took
was
care
planned.
of
Everything
the
else was
autistic
fine.
one. Yeah. But now, yeah, I find that happens as well. We plan for my son's what could possibly happen, and then we don't. And this sounds horrible, and I don't mean it this way, but we might not plan for my daughter's version of it.
But she doesn't need that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the plan is half laid, and then we're like, oh, we didn't figure this part out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens often. Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
It was fun. We're almost running out of time.
Okay.
I do want to ask you a little bit more. Like, tell me a bit more about your son because you've spoken about like
Yeah.
how perfect he is. And I want to hear about that. And like the gifts that he
Yeah.
has and his
Yes.
superpowers. You don't want to call them super, but like let's
Yes,
hear
I
more
don't-
about some of the amazing
I
things about
don't-
your son.
I don't want to take away from when I say gifts and
Yeah.
things like that from the challenges. But what I mean by that is even this conversation we're just having, where you have to plan extensively. You said you have wicked communication. I feel that autistic people are here to bring these things about. To one is empathy.
Yes.
I mean, I have become a much more empathetic person since having my son.
Yep.
I was not, I wasn't a horrible person, but I just wasn't. I didn't have the level of empathy that I have now.
I was the same way. Cold. Probably still am cold.
Yeah. Yes.
Very direct. But
Yes,
yes, I
yes,
completely
same.
can empathize with you.
Yeah.
So,
And I feel that he has taught me that.
Mm-hmm.
He's also taught me the beauty of, we're talking about plans and doing various things, of just sitting and doing nothing and being very happy about it.
yeah.
Sitting outside in nature or I sit on the floor a lot. He sits on the floor with me. It seems like the most natural thing in the world, and we are doing nothing. There's no screens. There's no TV. There's nothing. And I'm like, okay, this in some ways is a sort of meditation.
Yeah.
Where you just are grateful to be alive. He seems grateful to be alive every single day. He's just having the time of his life, doing nothing.
Yeah.
He is very happy. And just seeing that inspires the same things within me.
Sure.
And there was, I won't tell the specifics of the story for various reasons, but there was a moment where my son and I felt that we were on the same spiritual plane, for lack of a better word. And he can't talk, but sorry, every time I think of it, it just chokes me up. But what I heard from him, not with words, but into my brain, I know this sounds out there, is, see, everything is fine. And not being able to communicate with him with words or the way we typically think of communication, just to hear that from him, see, everything is fine. And he's laughing, and he does laugh often. I thought, this is why we have so many autistic people, because they're here to remind us that everything is fine. In the world, there is a lot of horrible things happening. Being an American, we're creating a lot of horrible things. And if we just were able to communicate on a different level and kind of I know this sounds so cringe, but open our hearts to one another and just be in community, everything would be fine. And so I think the spiritual gifts of people with autism that's the reminder.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about, I won't, but we can talk about the science and the biology of why there's such an increase in autism, various factors. But I really feel that it's to remind us that everything is fine. And that happened a few years ago. And it gives me goosebumps thinking about it now because I heard it very clearly, even without words. And if anyone is struggling raising an autistic kid or struggling with their own diagnosis, I think that if you really get on their level, the struggle doesn't disappear. It's still very hard, but it's a different type of life when you just, instead of trying to force them into our boxes, just get in their box. It really changes parenting and perspective. And again, you still have struggles, but they and their way of living is extremely important in this time period specifically because of all the chaos that we have going on. I've never really met a cruel autistic child. I've never, even among adults, they exist, but it's rare. And I think that that's for a reason.